Alrighty then, my friends. It's time for the game balance in Battle of Exile Ultimatum. Now heads up, I have been spoiled. I saw Ziz make a tweet that he wants ED to be nerfed to the ground. So that tells me that ED wasn't nerfed in this manifesto. That's the only thing I know. Also, I hope he steps on a Lego for wanting ED to be nerfed. Okay? How dare he say that? Oof. Okay. Okay. Game balance in Battle of Exile Ultimatum. Alongside every new league, we aim to make balance changes to a wide variety of character systems to improve build and playstyle diversity. In this league, we focused on rebalancing a few specific game mechanics. Wait, that means they mentioned Headhunter, and in the QA, Chris mentioned Headhunt. The balance team wanting to nerf Headhunter, but Chris said no. I believe the balance boys probably know more about the game than Chris does. So here's a guess. They nerfed Hexproof with the body armor, Cosper's Will, and Occultist. We kind of thought that they already did that. Was it last patch or the patch before that? And then we found out that that thing is still a thing. What other? They say mechanics, so there must be something else too. I don't know. We'll see. I'm expecting the Headhunter nerf though. New blood teaming skills and Vaal Skills while lowering the power of specific mechanics that were dominating the meta game and were too far above the level how power we aim for. By the way, is the music's too loud still? I can still lower it a tiny bit, I think. Yeah, let's do a tiny bit more. This kind of needs to be like this, like some ambience. We also made changes to the Atlas passive trees. I'm totally expecting the fucking Harby node to be yeeted out of existence, or more well nerfed at least. After reviewing their balance, and as a result, both ritual becoming a core mechanic alongside the upcoming league reward changes. We haven't included the changes to league rewards described in our announcement here. We have not included the changes to league rewards described in the announcement. So wait, that means that does this mean that this is literally going to be nothing else but nerfs then? Because another the league reward stuff was a big buff. Balance changes are related to the new life costing skills. Low life, low mana, low energy shield now all count as being 50% or below. This new threshold is both a bit more obvious at glance and is large enough value that player could survive for a long time on low life with the help of the new Petrified Blood skill. As a result, certain skills, passive and items have been rebalanced to compensate. I'm totally expecting the champion node to be fucking dead now. After this. Also, there's a unique item, body armor, that is getting a massive nerf as a result of this change. Is it Infernal Mantle, I think? Let me... Oh, not here. Not do that. Oh, well, I was trying to do this search on a different tab where I had the uniques listed. But I'll show you the Yeah, there. So Infernal Mantle has this thing with increased spell damage taken when on low mana. So this would mean that when you're 50% on your mana pool, you're just taking a lot of extra damage. So I'm expecting them this to be buffed. Before they just nerfed it even more. I don't know, we'll see. Okay. For example, the punishment curse effect that causes enemies to take more damage while on low life has been reduced. Makes sense. And it affects larger portion of the monster life. We made similar changes to assassin, ambush, and assassinate. Also makes sense. Infernal Mantle and Replica Last Resort. I don't even remember what the Replica Last Resort was. Let's take a look. Increased damage while on low life. Increased accuracy rating while low life. Deal no damage when not on low life. Was it really that good? I mean, sure, it's 200% damage while you're low life, I guess, but was it actually? Oh, I mean, yes, there's 50 attack speed too. Yeah, I guess it's kind of nice. Blood Magic support has been split into 2 gems. Does it also have the split tag, like the beast changes? Who knows? Has the lack of damage multiplier made a poor choice for primary skills? Yep, it did. Now each of these new supports is balanced for the appropriate use case. I like this change a lot. There are a small number of new passive clusters in the passive tree for generic physical damage as well as physical damage overtime multiplier to better support the new skills. Certain sources of bleeding damage and damage overtime multiplier for bleeding have been changed to physical damage overtime multiplier to let them avoid the corrupted blood. And the new Reap and Exsanguinate. Makes sense. These include the Gladiator's Gracious Violence and the Ascendant's Glad node. Not all bleed-related passive and modifiers on items have been changed. The full bleed invested build and build using both bleeding and corrupted blood controllers look the same. I wonder if the Dude, imagine if they change this node so that if the enemy is affected by corrupting blood, it would also explode. So you wouldn't need to bleed them. But yeah, the more damage it's bleeding is probably gonna affect it. Corrupted blood now never counts as bleeding damage. The reductions to bleeding damage taken no longer affected. Staging Flask modifier and Pathfinder's Master Charge Nerve now state that they apply to both bleeding and corrupted blood. Makes sense. Makes sense. What about the boots? What about the boots? What's happening? My page lagging? That's weird. So we have Infinite Pursuit. Oh wait, not that. Where are you? There, Death's Door. Bleeding cannot be inflicted on you. Wait, did this even work? I actually don't remember. I actually don't remember if this was worked on it. Also, yeah, Crab Chest as well. Because it was already technically not bleeding for so many things, so I don't actually remember if this worked on it. I think it did work though, but yeah. Corrupted blood damage has been rebalanced so it's more consistent between sources, so specific monsters that have very high corrupted blood damage will no longer be as strong, while others that dealt almost no damage will be dealing more noticeable damage. I wonder if this means Cirrus, because Cirrus CP was pretty bad. Also, basically I think what this means is that mobs that have a very high base damage, because this used to scale with the like the monster main hand hit. So shit like zombies, crazy damage, and then some like small monkeys like do nothing. So I'm expecting them to not scale like that anymore. Playstore now has a multiplier to bleeding damage while in blood stance. That's cool. To enable bleeding builds on the blood theme skill. Kinda cool, but Blade Storm and Bleed are kinda like, what? Elder Influence weapon modifiers that grant a chance for poisons. I mean, if you can do like Corrupting Blood Blade Storm, that could be, I guess, cool, but I will see. Elder Influence weapon modifiers that grant chance for poisons or bleeds to deal 100% more damage have been removed. Oh. In their place, Elder Influence weapons can now roll a new local poison or bleed damage overtime multiplier modifier. Double damage chance modifiers were too multiplier powerful to these builds, providing power than only that modifier granted, so they've been changed to an effect that's associated with other bleed modifiers. This is good if they are also buffing the other, you know, scaling of that type elsewhere. So then you no longer rely on this, because if you didn't have this on your build, you were kind of fucked in a lot of cases. So I really hope that to counter the removal of this, they are like slightly buffing the other means of getting that. If they're not doing that, then this is oh my goodness. Isn't it like 60% chance to deal double damage on these mods? Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, yeah, if they're not compensating for this, a lot of bleed builds just got gutted. Oh my goodness. I mean, of course it also affects poison builds a lot. Damn. That's rough. Because this is basically 60% more damage. This in all most of the builds this meant 60% more damage. There were some cases where you didn't want to have this because it was just like kind of inconvenient trying to get it, but it was like massive more multiplier. And in most builds you wanted it. Oh, oof, dude. Yeah, Dark Scorn is probably gonna get gutted as well as a result, I would expect. The way skills specify costs have been refactored. Skills now specify what resource they use. Consequently, the stats can specify whether they affect all costs, reservations, or some combination. For example, Righteous Decree Notable. This thing. Sorry, where's it? Wait, was it this one? Yeah. Now reduces mana cost of skills, while the Tireless Notable affects all skill costs. Oh, yeah. Makes sense. The other one is specifically mana costs. Yeah, makes sense. Some existing passive skills and items have been updated to affect all costs or reservations, but many effects are now resource specific where appropriate, like the inspiration. These changes also open up new possibilities for alternate costs. That's true. Design space. They're making design space. For example, the Chainbreaker Keystone no longer removes rage on hit, instead adding a small rage cost to all skills, which would then be affected by skill cost modifiers. This skill allowed us to keep Chainbreaker functional with spells while still losing rage when used alongside skills that don't hit, like damage over time spells or totem builds. I mean, I think that's a good change. and for a lot of builds, it's not gonna matter that much. Of course, depends on the values, what it's gonna be. But they say a small rage cost, so I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, we shall see how it's actually gonna be. Cool. I'm fine with this. It was way too strong for the dot and well totem builds. As a major benefit of these changes, reservation skills no longer have an associated cost by default. So you don't need the current mana available to reserve a skill. I can put my auras back in without having my mana. Nice. I like that. When I accidentally take off my aura, I can put it back on. That's cool. Even if your mana is completely depleted, you can still enable an aura. Yep, making it much easier to swap out auras or 2-in-1 again if you accidentally disabled it. I like this. Also, yeah, isn't this my... Yep, because of this, mind skills now have both mana cost and mana reservation. This means that both modifiers to cost and reservation both affect their appropriate parts of mind cost, so Indigo no longer provides spell damage without affecting mind cost. That's a big nerf to the free damage. Wait, but doesn't this also mean that you can do Castman damage taken memes now? I think it does. I think this is totally fine. Getting like crazy free damage from having Indicon for my builds was kind of like, why? Atlas passive balance. We made a series of changes to Atlas passives for a variety of reasons. Seraphine modifiers provided more rewards than the average rewards granted by Atlas passive, so we have had their chance or rewards lowered. Some are obvious, like high value targets or demonic sword. I actually don't know these by name. Is this... Do I even have them in Atlas right now? I can't even look at them, but I think they're the Harpy nodes, right? Do I have them on here maybe? I'm expecting the Harpy one to be nerfed. Yeah, so diplomatic escorts. What's the other one? What is the other one? High value targets. Is this... Is this New Wasti or something? Surgeon plus rewards for every surgeon in Legion. 3 additional surgeons. Oh wait, so the 1% chance for a emblem is still there? I mean, based on the list, right? While others are more subtle, like Seance. I actually don't know what this is either by name. Which effectively added so much item quantity to areas that it was simply boosting core drops like maps more than a single Atlas mechanism should. Oh, this is the Tormented Spirits. Ah, I see. Yeah, this was insane. Even though I didn't use it much, but it's insane. Yeah, makes sense. Seraphine modifiers provided fewer rewards than the standard reward increase per point invested. Dude, if they're gonna buff the innovation node, that their chance of rewards increase. For example, the rewards from the... Ah. Well, this is a top tier day one notable now then. This was already good for progression in solo self-found. Huh. I mean, we don't know how they're improving it, but it was already good. Certain effects made more sense grouped together, like the incursion passive saying all monsters in incursions are at least magic. Has been moved off Clenach Cairns on the existing time dilation modifier on Lex Edgeris. So Lex Edgeris is now completely focused on having more rewarding individual incursions, and Clenach Cairns focus on creating the best possible temple. Yeah, that's nice. It's more thematic, right? That's a good change. Ritual has been added to Hamlet with 2 notables. It replaces Beyond. I don't have it available here, dude. Power Hungry no longer exists. This is the other Beyond node, right? And the Paradiemon notable has been moved to Clenach Cairns at a slightly lower value, as the pond was too good to not keep. Okay.
Fresh meat.
T-button is back. Why does it keep coming back?
I don't know. Also, thanks for the 14 months yesterday. So there's even more good stuff in Hamlet now that I have to choose between. God damn it. God damn it, dude. Now there's gonna be like essences. There's gonna be the syndicate for getting the, well, just getting the syndicate missions. Now there's harvest, and now it's gonna be ritual too, dude. What the? Why do you do that? Darky thought he could get away with that from Atoll. I mean, there's a chance that Atoll will no longer be in that region with this. They're most likely going to be shuffled the maps around. However, Hamlet more like godlike. Or Godvark Hamlet. Yeah. Yeah. Most of this makes total sense.
Fresh meat.
Whoop whoop, it's my anniversary as us room.
Yay, thanks for the 12 months, dude. Vaal Skills. We've made a balance pass on damaging Vaal Skills, making them more interesting choice relative to the Vaal Skills that provide ongoing buffs. We want damaging Vaal Skills in particular to have more reason to be used by a larger variety of builds. The uptime for Vaal Skills has been improved via various means. A soul generation on unique monsters has been increased to 6 souls per 2 life with 1 second cooldown. Wow. That's a double. Yo, that's massive. Holy shit. That's another reason for Mathiel to play Spectral Throw at the start. He can use Vaal Spectral Throw and make nice little, you know, hammering moves. Damaging Vaal Skills have had their soul gain prevention times lowered relative to the duration of the Vaal skill. For Vaal Skills that don't have a duration or ongoing effect, the soul gain prevention time is usually just 1 second. Sorry, what? Huh. Well, that's pretty fucking nasty. Arc? Earthquake? Sorry, Ground Slam? Whatever. I wonder if it's gonna go for Flame Blast too. Probably not affecting Vaal Fireball, because it takes a while. Ice Snow? Dude, that's big. That is a very big line. Reduce the Vaal Soul requirement and or increase the number of uses on Vaal Skills that had relatively lower impact per use compared to other Vaal Skills. I wonder if Vaal Blight is considered a low impact skill. Balance buffs have been made on all damaging Vaal Skills, and note in all cases these have been buffs, except for Vaal Righteous Fire, which now provides less damage to spells while active and now sacrifices a larger amount of your total energy, shield, and life. Makes sense. Vaal Righteous Fire was pretty OP. We felt it was too easy for any spellcaster to use this skill to get significantly more spell damage for a long duration, with very little downside. Note the fire damage over time aspect of skill has been increased, keeping this an attractive option for builds focusing on burning damage. Yo, my Vaal Blight's gonna be better, Pog. Huh. That's kinda cool. Wonder why they told Chris not to overpromise. Or yeah, overhype. I mean, yeah. These are pretty big changes. They have introduced several new unique items and made adjustments to existing ones to either give a higher uptime of Vaal Skills at some cost or allow you to utilize Vaal Skills more easily in builds that struggle to fit them in. Well, that's big. That's a big segment right there. Skill balance changes. We've made balance passes on a large variety of skills that are performing above acceptable power levels, either through damage, so not ED, speed of clearing content, not ED until very late game gear, or defensive benefits. That's where ED kind of fits. These include Blade Vortex, okay, so that's damage and clear, damage and speed clear. Blade Blast is massive damage. Toxic Rain is kind of massive damage. General Scry with channel skills. The General Scry with the freaking Blade Flurry was just like insane amount of damage. Seismic Cry. I wonder if this is gonna be chance to deal double damage, or if it's gonna be just a flat out more multiplier instead of double damage now. Isn't Seismic Cry the one that gives you double damage? I think, right? Or is this the AoE one? I don't remember. Oh, Intimating is double damage. Yeah, this is the AoE. So, I guess they're nerfing the AoE then? I wonder if they're nerfing the damage of it or the AoE of it. Both. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, it's more AoE and more damage per stack. I always confuse the two. Carrion Golem. Vitality. Vitality was nice while we had it, right, guys? Like 2 patches. It was pretty fucking broken though. Carrion Golem. This is now... How many nerfs has Carrion Golem received lately? Why does it look like this? Has been added to the game. So that's nerf number 1. And I'm pretty sure we had more than just these 2 nerfs though. But these are like, we have had 2 like skill specific nerfs to it. I wonder how much it's gonna be nerfed now. But yeah, you know, like, people always make the joke, be included, that either GDG, like when they nerf something, they just completely kill it. Carrion Golem is the perfect example of a skill that, also ED, that they have nerfed multiple times, and it's still a good skill. So I'm wondering if you're gonna get the axe now on this. Frost Bomb and Wave of Conviction have had their exposure values lowered. as these skills provided too large an elemental resistance reduction compared to other mechanics that have higher investment or penalties against bosses. Goodbye skill shot. I mean, well, in a lot of cases, Wave of Conviction is automated. Well, you can automate that too, but that's kinda weird. I'm not sure if how much I like this, but I mean, for the Wave of Conviction, I think it kind of makes sense because you can spam it. But Frost Pump has a cooldown. Then again, these two kind of like overshadowed every other option, really. Yeah. Okay. Flesh and Stone now has a 35% mana reservation from 25. Water is still fucking OP. The defensive power of the skill in Sandstand and the offensive power in Blood Sands was too high. Oh, there's one big thing though. 35% baseline reservation is gonna be really rough if you want to link it with Maim. So the Flesh and Stone Maim combo is probably... Oof. What's Maim? Like 15. Oh. So it's like 39% or something. 39 or 40. I don't know. I don't remember how the rounding goes. Oof. Yeah, main Flesh and Stone I think is dead. We've added a small reduction to stand skill reservation cost on the Blood and Sand specialization cluster in the duelist. It is such an awkward spot though. There are so little builds that actually go through this. And going here, like if you had this, and going here to get it, it's just kind of like... I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing a build that took this. Then again, if they buff it enough, maybe people will take it, which would be nice, right? If they buff them enough, then people would potentially want to go for them, right? So there are cases. I mean, there's a top build that takes these nodes that could take these as well. So there is a potential use case for it, but yeah. If you were to like go look at POE Ninja on how many builds actually takes this, the Heatman would probably be pretty cold here. So it deserves to be buffed, right? Remains to be seen. I'm kind of expecting Flesh and Stone Maim to be dead now. That you don't do that anymore. Oh shit. Vigilance Strike and its Threshold Jewel, the Vigil, have changed how they handle Fortified Duration, and the duration is granted so that the Vigil doesn't result in a very long duration Fortify effect, instead granting a shorter Fortified Duration than a high level Vigilance Strike. Vigilance Strike's base Fortified Duration now scales with gem level. That's fine. Rather than through an increased Fortified Duration stat. Previously, players could gain 30 seconds to fortify from 2 sockets and a single jewel. I mean, most builds that put this jewel in, it was more bigger investment than just 2 points for a jewel slot. I wonder what's the duration gonna be now. Doesn't Vigilance Strike need like 150 something strength for it to be level, like max level? Oh, it's 100. Oh, that's totally fine. That's not a big deal. I'm still expecting it to be good though. 2 sockets, not 2 points. I mean, when they say sockets, they're referring to the like the socket on your items. That's whatever. The well, not in all cases. I really wonder what's the duration gonna be now. The Vigil have changed how they handle fortified duration and the durations granted, so that the Vigil doesn't result in a very long duration for the fact. Instead, granting a shorter fortified duration than a high-level Vigilance strike. Wait. Do I understand this correctly? You're better off using Vigilance strike without the jewel if you want a duration yourself. So basically this means that the General's Cry setup is dead, I assume. I mean, it's fine if the fortified duration is gonna be like somewhere between 15 and 20 seconds on a high level gem. I think that's totally fine. I think that's totally fine. If it's like 15 to 20 seconds on Original Strike, but you need to actually hit with it yourself, that's totally fine, and I will still use it without any questions asked for some bossing content. I wonder if increased duration is gonna scale it. Probably not. Oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense from the General's Cry edition. When Vigil was added to the game, the General's Cry thing didn't exist, and the General's Cry setup is so much more reliable to have a good uptime on it that it makes sense that they would nerf it, honestly. I don't really mind that. Also, I don't really mind it if they're basically buffing the baseline gem, but you don't need the Vigil Jewel anymore, as long as you can level it up. Because that means that I don't need to farm for the goddamn divination card. Also, rip that div card. Imagine the guy who made the div card and is now just like in fucking shambles somewhere in the corner, like, no. The guy had like literally a 1 league of feels good man, I can farm for my jewel, and now it's just like feels bad. Okay, moving along. Divergent Berserk alt quality now grants the Berserk buff 0.25% more spell damage from 1%. Makes sense. Justifiable nerf. This nerf should have happened at the same time as the Aura nerfs. This is still gonna be good, by the way. It's still gonna be good with this nerf. It also gives like crazy amount of movement speed, so yeah. General balance changes. It's all nerfs. I know you're trying to give me a heads up that everything here is gonna be nerfs, but you don't need to include it here. Okay. Quivers as caster offhands. Bow ED players in shambles right now. Critical strike chance, critical strike multiplier, dot multiplier, and chain modifiers on quivers now only apply to attacks or bow skills. Signal fire and recoil skills unique quivers have also had their critical damage added as fire, and projectiles fork modifier changed to attacks only. I mean, makes sense. Bows with a quiver could outclass many caster weapons for a variety of builds, so this change brings total offensive power to more reasonable balance without removing the option entirely and also makes more thematic sense. Yeah. By the way, if you play the bow version of ED, we're playing a inferior build, both in damage and in the offense. So maybe people can see the light now. The good thing about the bow for ED was that it gave you a pretty easy 6-link. I hope people finally start dual wielding ones or go with a staff instead of a bow now. I got a 3 with 8 mil contagion. Contagion? Contagion? I need to see that. I need to see that 8 mil contagion build. That sounds pretty nutty. I mean, Blight, yeah. I thought so. Thought so. I agree with this. Makes total sense. Then again, it was kind of interesting that in POE you could be a total spellcaster by using a bow. It was kind of cool, but it does make sense. Also, I think this opens design space. Eight mil contagion sounds good. Just send a POP. No, that's what you had. I wanted to see. You were supposed to show me that, not the other way around. Physical explosion. Body armors. My synthesized dagger is still alive. Influence and oh fuck, never mind. God damn it. Fuck. Influence and synthesis modifiers that cause enemies killed to explode dealing physical damage will no longer have a 100% chance to apply. The replacement modifiers grant enemies you kill have a chance to explode, dealing a tenth of their life as physical damage. With a new lower tier influence mod being introduced, it has a lower chance. This keeps the mechanic and opens up possibility of stacking explode chance with higher investment, but it will no longer reliably wipe out packs of monsters through a chain reaction of explosions. Well, geez, thanks for telling us the number. Like, what the chance is. The one thing that we needed info on is the values of these numbers, and that's what they don't give us. So we have no idea if this is actually a nerf that actually matters, or if they completely killed it. We just don't know. We actually don't know. We have to wait for patch notes. That's kind of lame. Why didn't you just include it here? Makes no sense. It's just like, hey, guys, we're killing your build. We're just not telling you how much we're killing it, or if we're actually killing it. Just wait for tomorrow, dude. In a fucking balance manifesto. Why did you... I'm upset of the lack of information regarding this nerf. In everything else, for everything else, they have like explicitly said what they're doing. Okay, sorry, never mind. They didn't tell us numbers on this specifically, but for the most of the stuff, they told us exactly what's happening. But here they're just like, no longer 100% chance. I mean, it's gonna be a nerf. We know they're gonna try to make it really noticeable, but it would be nice to know how noticeable. But we just have to wait for patch notes now. Harvest monster life. The base life of all harvest monsters has been reduced by 30 to 50%, but harvest machinery gives monsters around 100% extra increased life on average. What is harvest machinery? The intention is no difficult to change in harvest fights, but harvest monsters created with desecrate skill have life value. Oh, I see. I see. They're nerfing the DD, but they're making the encounters still matter. Okay. This is just a nerf. This just means the thing that we click before we start fighting them. Okay. This is the address. Corrupt explosion builds getting a significant damage boost from having specters of a specific harvest monster. Strategy will work, but the difference in monster you won't be so significant. I mean, makes sense. I don't mind this. Yeah, this is specifically nerfed to the DD using the harvest specters pretty much. Makes sense. Yeah, Harvest has a couple, Heist has a couple beefy guys as well, but the Harvest... So... Okay, let's just compare quick. Primal, Crush Claw, Primal Blister Lord, Auto Enforcer, and then Rusty Crusher. Do 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 do. And then there we go. So currently Crush Claw is 1200 life, Blisterol is 960, Auto Enforce is 750, and Rusty Crusher is 715. So Crush Claw is almost twice as more compared to the heist guys, and then Blister Lord is like, you know, 50%. So yeah. And the heist guys are already good, but there is a significant damage increase with the harvest guys. Okay, hexproof. Modifiers that allow your hexes to affect hexproof enemies, such as the Cosper Spill, unique body armor, and occultist, no longer allow your hexes to affect yourself while you have hexproof, as you are not your own enemy. Insert a meme about cast while dead or something like that. Right here. They actually did it. They actually finally did it. Yeah, that's true. We don't know what the life pools on the Ultimatum monsters are gonna be. That's a good point. Though if they are specifically removing, like, nerfing harvest monster life, I'm expecting them to also, you know, pay attention to the life of the Ultimatum mobs. But we'll see. Self girders in shambles. What did it take them? When was Headhunter? Headhunter was added to the game in 1.0. So how many years ago? 7.5 years ago. Shackles. was added to the game in 1.2. So they only had, you know, almost 7 years of fun. Oh. Not that everyone was using it back then, but Headhunter is still insane. Now it's just slightly less insane. Yeah, Shackles is good has unique, and it's been in the game for a very long time. But like they tried to nerf this interaction. And I don't know if it wasn't last patch. Was it the patch before that or the patch before that? But then there was like 2 mechanics that still allowed the combination of self-temp chains and headhunter buffs to exist. And now they're finally actually nerfing it. You know what? You know what you can still do, by the way? You're playing with headhunter and self-temp chains. Then you realize that you got hexproof because your temp chains is gone. You know what you can do? When you're mapping or your high-speed mapping, you can open your inventory, pray that you have enough dex and strength, and then you do this, and then you go again. Because the headhunter buffs, if I remember, don't get removed when you remove the belt. Like, oh, wait, no, I think they do get removed. Wait, I don't think that. Wait, if they get removed, then it doesn't really matter anyway. And if they didn't get removed, well, then you would still be curse immune. So. Wait, is that actually gonna work? Can you do that then? Because if they don't get removed, if the headhunter buffs don't get removed, then you keep your. Then you keep your curse immune, so it doesn't even do anything then. In that case. Yeah, never mind. Doesn't matter. Copium, I tried, okay? I tried my best. I mean, it's not like it's gonna, make you not use headhunter. It's still insane. And you will still probably self-temp change yourself. Maybe you just don't run Nemesis anymore. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, Poison Sextant. Sextant modifier which grants players increased damage and movement speed for each poison on them has been removed. Savvy players could run every map with this Sextant effect applied, usually through fracturing specific maps and the harvest map enchantment that didn't consume Sextant users. With certain items that allowed them to apply a large number of poison buffs to themselves, they could achieve extreme damage and movement speed. Yep. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. The savvy people are now salty people. Paper hands, dude. I wonder how many people were actually doing that. Can you count them in like in one hand? I mean, we'll see. Note the partially compensated as we believe self-poison is an interesting playstyle. We've added a new unique item that retains damage and movement speed proportional stats. However, these stats will now be capped at specific value. Cool. Poison exploit, insanely common. Insanely common? You basically needed to use fractured fossils? I'm pretty sure fractured fossiling your maps was not a super common build to do. %2% of builds on POE Ninja use run golden rule. Oh, that's the normal match with it too. Yeah, but the extreme case where it actually matters is the fractured, the 100% Delirium maps, etc. Like that's where it actually matters. Yeah, 2%. If you're saying 2% of POE Ninja currently had that, that's like nothing because that's basically saying 2% of the player base that hits like level 99 had it. Yo, what up, Quantric? Thanks for the raid, dude. Fractured fossils. Well, speak of the devil, I guess. Splitting an item through beast crafting now applies a split tag to both items, similar to mirrored. Items that have fractured fossils used on them also gain the split tag. Ooh. Split items cannot be split again and cannot have imprints made of them or applied to them. Fractured fossils? Here's the question. Will fractured fossils go up in price or down in price? We don't know, because we don't know the Delve changes yet, right? Huh. There's one thing I don't really understand. And that is... So, I have made my split item. Why can't I use the imprint crafting on that split item now? Because I can't split it, so I can't use an imprint to abuse the split to dupe. But if I just have an item base that happens to be split. Why can't I use imprints on that anymore? Why can't I use... I can't use an imprinted base that I bought of someone to use the magic imprint crafting. I'm like, balance wise, I don't understand why. Like from balance point of view, I don't see the problem. The problem was when you imprinted an item, then you split it, and then you use the imprint on one of the items and copy it. That was the issue with the imprint. That was the problem. But if I just have a base that happens to have a split, and now I start alt crafting that, and now I get, I got my Merciless of Celebration, and then I want to use a beast imprint on it, so if my Regal fails, I can go back to it. I mean, my guess is that they just didn't have the time or whatever to actually do that. Incorrect. Split without imprint allows you to do Cube 6 socket white chest. There's two different issues here with the split. You just described one of them. I was talking about the other, which is duping perfect stat items for crafting. You could literally dupe a merciless jeweled foil and have two of those. There were two like really bad big things on there. Other one is the bases, and the other one was specific high value mods on good bases. Yeah, also for temple mod ones. There's a lot of cases. But that wasn't correct. I was just talking about a different thing. To clarify that. So that's kind of sad because now if you have an item that is a split, you shouldn't be crafting on that. Because you can't do that. I mean, depends on what kind of crafting you're doing on it, but you should never start alting a item that has a split tag. If you're planning on, if you were to otherwise plan on having the imprint strat for regals, that's dead on those bases. And from balance point of view, I don't really get it. Yes, everyone knows the 6 link, 6 white, 6 the 30 quality astrals and Vaal regals and whatnot were basically cheaper than whatever because of it, and that's card. But way back when, using the other splitting thing with the imprint combination was far more valuable. Like, holy shit, there was a guy who literally had the entire market for jeweled foils, like physical jeweled foils, in one league because of that. Because he was the first one to hit the perfect I think the merciless of celebration base, and then he just started duping those, and then he multi-modded and corrupted them so nobody else could get the base, and he just sold them like no one came even close to having a weapon. Like there was this guy had like a long ass post about doing that. It was before Legion, I think, even. So what I'm talking about now, I think it was like I think it was a 1 month event where that was done. Might have been was it like the first Bestiary League when it was a thing? I don't remember, but it was insane. It was actually insane. Okay. I mean, with the exception of the thing that I mentioned, this is a really good change. Is this the thread? Yeah, this. So this is the multi-modded foil with Merciless and Celebration. Yep. So he had the Merciless of Celebration. He kept duping those, and then he just regaled one mod into it, multi-modded and corrupted. Like nobody came even close to these weapons. So he had the entire market. Like he didn't even care about what this mod was. It's so funny. Can split items be modified? Oh yes, you can do basically everything as if it was a normal item, except you can't split it again, and you can't use the beast imprint system on it. Atlas mission sustain. We've removed the bonus mission chance from awakening objective bonuses. As Atlas passive combined with this bonus and other mechanics will result in almost endless supply of missions, we decided to keep the Atlas passive at full strength and remove the awakening objective bonus, so the player has the choice to invest in more Atlas missions if they desire. Totally fine. I had more missions than I could ever do, so I think that's fine. I'm not sure if this is a hot take or not, but if every map that you use an master mission on, you should eventually run out. I mean, you kinda already did, but like, you could sustain them for so long. If you had like 200 missions and you started doing that, you could just keep going and never run out, basically. Is there a reason to do awaken bonus? I don't know. Is map modifier effect worse for you? More pack size, more item rarity, more item quantity? I would say yes. But hey, that's maybe just me. Delirium item quantity and rarity. We have lowered and standardized the amount of item quantity and rarity granted by Delirium Vault. So they now give up to double the inbuilt item rarity of monsters and up to 50% quantity. There is no caps at maximum depth rather than at 50%. Is the case. Yo, what up, mods? Thanks for the raid. We are here just bathing in the tears of everyone getting nerfed. Everyone, just everyone. I think this is fine. Delirium was ridiculously rewarding, and I think it will still be. Passive tree changes. Air Slinger should be as good. We don't know. We need patch notes. We are wary about how accessible normally scarce. How do you pronounce this word? Is it scarce or scarce? I think it's scarce. I don't know. Whatever. Such as AoE, skill effect duration, aura effect, and projectile speed are on Caster Jewel notables. Given you can stack multiple of the same notable on the passive tree. As a result, we have made small numerical nerfs to several Caster Jewels and notables that grant the above stats. You better not be touching my wicked pal, dude. It was already nerfed. Leave it alone. It was already nerfed once. It's barely worth it. Please, don't touch it anymore. Leave it alone. As a relatively minor ascendancy change, Pain Reaver has been replaced with new passive skill on Berserker, providing defensive benefits. Leech attack speed if you've been hit recently increased total recovery. Okay. Providing defensive benefits once you lose life from an enemy hit. It is designed as a high-risk defensive recovery mechanic, granting faster leech rate from Pain Reaver more easily but with associated risk. Effects of Berserker's Flawless Savagery notable are no longer limited to attacks. The small passive apply increased physical instead of... Okay. You know what's kind of funny? Do you guys remember back in the day when Berserker was like a really good caster ascendancy? With having leech and generic damage. And then instead of just taking the leech off from spells, they completely fucking gutted anything regarding the spells on Berserker. And now we're back here again. Now we're back here. Can you make up your mind? Could you make up your mind, sir? I mean, of course, I feel like this is made because of the new life-based spells. Yeah. Immortal Ambition's Keystone's life leads effects recover energy shield instead of... Right. Immortal Ambition's Keystone... Wait, isn't this from the belt? Right? Keystone's life leads effects recover energy shield instead of loss. That is now limited by maximum total energy shield recovery from leads. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. Instead of by maximum total life recovery leads. Damn, dude. That's rough. Can you explain? Okay, so when you're leeching, there's a cap of 20% of your life, your total life leads per second, right? For energy shield, that base is 10%. So they cut that in half. The real question is, does this scale based on how much ES you have? Combined with Corrupted Soul, Keystone, and Powerful Recovery Source of Leaf, provide 2 create an increase. Yeah, this is prevents the disable life effect. Not being removed a full life after breaking, but limits how easy it's recover energy. Yeah. I'm totally expecting this to be based on how much ES you have. So this means that, well, yeah, of course it has to be. So if you have 1,000 ES, right? If you have 1,000 ES, once your life goes full, you are only getting 100 ES per second instead of just like it going like instantly up. So this is a massive nerf like semi-hybrids where you have a decent life pool and then a decent ES pool. And for builds that had like very high life pool with a very little ES, this makes like no difference at all. So for example, the build that I used to kill Maven, give me a second. Karv Maven. So this build, with I have like what 5.3k life and where's the quality? I have like 5.3k life and 1300 life. It's affected a lot more than some builds that had, 8k life and like 1,000 or 500 ES. So slightly sad, like of the effect on hybrid builds, but for a lot of builds, this change doesn't make any sense, or like it doesn't really matter. Rather, it's just now you probably don't care about crafting life added as energy shield on your chest piece anymore for those builds, right? And you don't care about getting the other keystone. I think it's Corrupted Soul, right? You just basically have the belt and you don't scale your ES at all. So you just use the belt for the sake of getting overleech. But at the same time, if you're a spellcaster build, now you could potentially start looking into having something like Ethereal Feast or Light Eater. Okay. Corrupted Soul Keystone now causes you to gain 15% of maximum life as energy shield from 20%. I mean, I think that's a justifiable nerf. The Keystone allowed life-based characters to get large amount of energy shield very easily, while the non-chaos damage taken by Bass energy shield didn't prove to be significant downside. I mean, you could have made the downside, you could have added onto the downside instead of doing this, but I think this is totally fine. As mentioned above, the Chainbreaker Keystone no longer causes you to lose 5 rage when you hit an enemy, but now instead has kills cost +3 rage. The Keystone allowed certain skills that either didn't hit touch as Bane, or skills that didn't count as you, such as totems and mines, to completely bypass the downside. Is this a base cost, as in does this scale with your mana multipliers? Okay. So basically slammers don't really care. Well, it matters because 5 when you hit is gonna be a lot less than, you know, like how much does a 6-link earthquake make this? I mean, it depends what kind of slammer we're talking about. Of course. How much does it scale? Does this go to like 10 or does this go to like 15? Yeah, it probably makes. I mean, well, it definitely makes. It makes a difference for like actual hard content where you're trying to sustain Berserk. For sure, definitely. Oh wait, oh this is gonna affect your war cries too. Oh yeah, never mind. This makes a big difference. This makes a big difference. I totally blanked out that this is gonna affect all of your skills. Wait, does this also mean that if I run out of rage, I can't use my abilities? Versus I just don't have any rage available when I run out. If this means that I can't use my skills when I'm at 0 rage, it's fucking, oh my god. Oh my goodness. I'll take everything back that I said at the beginning. Yeah, that's fucking, oh. Oh. I hope that they make it so that you can still use your abilities when you don't have rage. Please. Not having rage is already the downside. I don't have the rage, right? So I can't have my Berserk up. I'm missing this from the stats of the rage buff. I really hope that they're considering that too. That if you can't use skills, if you can't use your skills when you don't have rage, this is dead. This is, you just... It's really fucking bad. Oh goodness. But I don't think it's gonna be like that. I hope it's not gonna be like that. But the way they have worded this implies that if you don't have raids, you can't cast them. Because if you don't meet the cost to use your abilities, you can't use them, right? So I hope we get a confirmation that you can still use your abilities if you don't have rage. Because if you can still use your abilities at 0 rage, at least it's... You can still hit without rage at the moment. Yes, but it's a different mechanic entirely, right? It causes you to lose rage when you hit an enemy. Versus when you use a skill, it costs 3 rage. Right? It's a requirement to use the ability that you have 3 rage based on this. Versus if you didn't have the rage if you had 4 rage when you hit an enemy, well, you just lost whatever you had left. So I really hope that they're gonna count for that. What about totems? Whenever you place a totem, you lose rage. Now instead of not losing it, because every skill has a cost now. So one of the reasons why they did this change is so that stuff that like totems or Bane that doesn't hit enemies, like, well, the totem hits enemies, but that's not you hitting the enemy, right? I really hope that they're accounting for the fact that you're still able to use your abilities with 0 rage. Okay. Hardened Scars no longer grants Fortify during the effect of any life flask. Instead, now grants Fortify while recovering life from a life flask. I mean, I'd say that's a fair nerf. But damn. Yeah, dude. There weren't many builds that could do this. There were very little builds that could do this. Basically, you had to be a Pathfinder or you had to be an Ascendant Pathfinder, pretty much. I mean, I think the nerf is fine, but it's kind of... You can build around the fact that you always need to be getting life. It just means that you don't have a free life flask. Basically, getting your... Yeah. I don't know, it's kind of weird because it was an anoint. So you needed to sacrifice a flask slot to get this, and you needed an anoint. But like, if you're using a okay, so here, what you can do is you can use a Petrified Blood, and then you use a life flask, a very long duration life flask that doesn't get your life back to full, and that's a permanent uptime. That's still gonna work. But yeah. So now you're gonna sacrifice your life. Now you're gonna sacrifice a flask to have even less life recovery. and you basically can never be at full life. The Necromancer's Essence Gluton Notable has had the amount of mana regen when you consume a corpse lowered from 8 to 4%. Yeah. I mean, I agree with the nerf. It was weird that Necromancer was literally the best MOM build. It was kind of weird. Not gonna lie. Damn. Got it in half. Got it in half. Primal Aegis from the Elemental Passion Element skill now takes 45 damage. Sorry, 75 damage per allocated notable from 100. Still strong. It's still good. Still pretty good. Edit. There was an error in the Fractured Fossils and Beastsplit section that stated that split items cannot be mirrored. Split items can be mirrored and the post has been updated to reflect this. Okay. Yes. Sarah, that's basically why they did that. You still take those. If the values on those are still highest, you still take them. Like, Crush Claw is almost double the HP compared to the highest guys. Huh. Stone Skin Flare and a little... What is Stone Skin Flare? I don't even remember. I think it's more, right? I just remember how much. Yeah, that's 800. Yeah, Stone Skin Flare is 800. The highest guys are like 715 and 700 and something. Let's take a look. Also, what is Lithomancer? Lithomancer is 800 as well. These you need to get the Primeval Fortress for this. But yeah, so we have Crush Claw. No, Rusty Crusher. This is like 715, and then you have Auto Enforcer, right? Which was 750, I believe. Yeah. So the difference between the highest guys, which you get access in Act 6, by the way, is slightly worse than the Delve guys. But then current Crush Claw is like 1200. So I wouldn't expect, like, this can still probably be... What were the numbers they mentioned for this? Where are you? There. 30 to 50%. So if they nerf it by the 30%, still fine. Yeah, you also need Primeval for the Stone Skin Flare. Honestly, personally, I think the Delve guys should have the highest HP. They're the hardest to obtain. So I would be fine in the Delve guys having the highest. So yeah, keep in mind, we don't know the tankiness of the new monsters. So also, another thing that we need to keep in mind, I feel like every time we get a balance manifesto, which usually only consists of nerfs, we completely forget one thing. Even after the patch notes, there's so many things that get introduced every single league that we don't know about until we've actually played the league. Like, the only reason the only reason why we are at the point where they need to do all of these nerfs is because of every league keeps adding more power creep, right? So like they aren't telling about all of the new toys we get. We're gonna find out about them, right? I mean, I would expect that in general in this league we are gonna be worse than last league, of course, because the harvest nerf, the like super high-end items, of course, and most of these are pretty high-end. There's a lot of like 1%, like the 0.01% nerfs here with the fractured fossils, the headhunter shits, and yeah. I mean, I think pretty much all of these are justifiable. Obviously, we don't know the numbers for these skills yet, so it's hard to say if they are justifiable. But all of the stuff that they actually explicitly told us what they're doing, I think are pretty good changes. Am I gonna go to Reddit now? And see Reddit literally in flames? Or am I just gonna stay within my own head and you here, where we're kind of like, yeah, pretty rough nerfs, but they kind of make sense. The thing is, you can cut the player power by half, and the players will still shit on everything the game has to offer. Because how much power we have. Not you. I mean, most of these nerfs don't really affect the quote-unquote casual players. Most of these nerfs are stuff that people never did at all. A streamer told me that the economy will be in shambles without fractured maps. I'll translate that to you. You can actually potentially buy something without needing to do fractured maps yourself. But yeah, most of these nerfs are just like the super late game high-end stuff. Karv sounds like he likes this manifesto. I mean, I generally like when they nerf us. How is Dr. Green gonna be nerfed? I have no idea. I could make many guesses, but I have no idea. Yeah, a lot of these nerfs. Basically, 3.14 is the catch-up league, where they do all the changes that they should have done a long time ago. The lab changes should have been done like fucking 4 years ago. The incursion shit should have been since day one. Like, they gave us so many things that we should have had a long time ago. So they're also nerfing a lot of shit that they should have nerfed a long time ago. So I think it makes sense. You know. They giveth and they taketh. Seen the Yoji vid? Oh, I actually haven't seen that. I need to look at that. Buddy hasn't seen the leak announcement and asked how it was. That was a long message. No. If the manifesto is ripping us apart like this, the patch notes are gonna be kind of lame. This has happened before. Has actually happened so many times when they have like a massive nerf manifesto, then the patch notes are just like, it's kind of boring. They used to like hint at with things about with the manifesto and then drop all the bombs in the patch notes. But now they're doing the opposite.